Have I showed you my D&D stuff? I've been playing D&D for the past 5 years, and over the course of that time, I've amassed a collection of books, dice, minifigures, and a ton of other stuff that I love to use while I play the game. Now, I'm mostly a dungeon master, which means I'm usually the one creating the story and running the game for a bunch of players that sit at this table right here. This is my normal setup. You see, I have this big mouse pad. This is one of the first gifts that was related to D&D that I got from my dad, and he thought it was super cool, and I wanted to make sure I could use it because it just adds to the whole environment and makes it really cool. I also have this, which is called a DM screen. It has this really cool dragon on the front, and you can see this poor unfortunate dude is getting carried around by the dragon. I hope he's okay. This is what I usually see. So my players sit around the table while I tell the story. And on the inside of this DM screen, Dungeon Master screen, it has like the different actions in combat. It has the different like area of effect things. There are different conditions that your players can be affected by while they're playing the game. There's a ton of different stuff that's all really useful. Along with all of that, I also have a bunch of books and a bunch of dice. You can see that I have all of my different sets of dice here in these like tackle boxes almost, and they're separated into their each individual sets in each different square so that if my players need a set of dice, they can just go into the box and pick their favorite. Then I also have these dice trays, which you can buckle up the corners and you can use them to roll your dice into so you're not rolling them all over onto the ground and everything. I got all of these for like 12 bucks on Amazon, but you can see they're pretty old and then they're not the nicest, but they work well enough. That's all that matters. Along with the ones in those boxes, I like to keep my own personal set of dice away from everything else. So there's just like my favorite sets to use. You can see here that these ones are my nicer ones. They're like a black resin with like a beetle shell film or something inside of them. It's really cool. Up here, I have a set of rainbow dice that my friend got me for my birthday, which is yesterday as of filming this video. I have these ones, which look like they're made of metal, but they're actually like a really light plastic. I have 2 sets of metal dice. I have these hollow ones that my mom got me for Christmas, and they're like gear boxes and they're hollow. And I have these ones that my brother got me, and they're these really cool metal, like gold and blue ones. And then I have this old one that my dad got me, which is like these old bone looking ones. Don't worry though, they're just made of plastic, I think. And then I have all of these. It's like 42 miniature D6s that I can use for massive attacks. For example, a ancient red dragon's fire breath is like, hold on. An ancient red dragon's fire breath, which is one of its most iconic attacks, deals a whopping 26 D6 fire damage, which is that many of all of the dice that I have of this kind. Which, mind you, is a crap ton, but it's good to have those just in case I need them. All right, enough of the dice. I'm gonna show you all of the books I have now. So if you're just barely getting into D&D, I'm gonna highly recommend these books right here. First, you have the main 3. You have the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual. These 3 are the most important books that you can get. Again, they're not necessary, but they're really helpful when you're just barely starting doing D&D. This book is most useful if you're just playing. You're not actually running the game as the Dungeon Master. That's what this book is for. This book is just for like creating your character. So you can be like a dwarf, or you can be an elf, or you could be a human, or you could be a gnome. There's a dragonborn in here. The dragonborn are these really cool, like, I guess you could say they're half dragon, half human. They're able to breathe fire and ice, and depending on whatever type of dragon born you are, you have different abilities and stuff. It's really cool. Then there are all the different classes like the barbarian, or the bard, clerics, druids, fighters, monks, paladins, rangers, rogues, sorcerers, warlocks, and finally, wizards. I'd love to do an entire video going over all the different classes and what each of them does and like what their whole deal is. They're all like really interesting in their own specific ways depending on what you want your character to be. It's all really cool. And on top of that, each class has its own subclasses that are each unique to it. Like if you wanted to be a fighter, like a knight character who could also cast spells, that exist. Or if you wanted to be a rogue that's specifically meant for being an assassin, that also exists. It's all really cool. It's all really fleshed out. On top of that, there's the spells, which there is
a lot of spells. There are so many in this book.
The different spells range from like necromancy to evocation, like fire magic, lightning magic, healing magic, nature magic. There's a ton of different stuff that you can use as your character. And when you get to higher levels, the spells just get crazier. At one point, when you get to a high enough level, you can even cast Wish, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's really good spell, but it's also really dangerous to use.
And then there's whole sections dedicated to this book to either protect yourself or do some damage with all the different weapons in here. This book also has a really cool wheel explaining all the different planes of existence that you can go to and the different negative and positive planes. Like right up here is Elysium, the Beastlands, Bitopia, Mount Celestia, which is like heaven basically. Then down here, there's like Hades, Gehenna, Carcery, the Abyss, the Nine Hells, that kind of stuff. And then there's the ones in the middle, Mechanus. So this is on like the lawful side, and this one's based around predictability and machines and things like that. Then exactly opposite of that is Limbo.
Limbo is basically a plane of pure chaotic energy that's constantly changing and transforming into a bunch of different things. It's really chaotic, and it's home to some of the most dangerous creatures. But if you're skilled enough, you can actually alter that plane of reality to your whim and use it to your advantage, being able to move things with your mind and create things out of thin air. Anyways, moving on.
The Dungeon Master's Guide is really helpful if you're actually running the game, like you're sitting at the head of the table and creating the story for your players. This has a lot of really important information that would be useful to know when you're playing your game. It has sections of the book dedicated to helping you create your game and adventures, NPCs, environments, and a bunch of different things, including treasure. Now, there is a lot of treasure you can get. This is all just valuable items that you can sell for more money. There's also entire tables dedicated for different treasure hoards or individual treasures or magical items that you could possibly get and different attributes that the magical items could have, along with different tables rolling for random magical items that you can give to your players. There are so many magical items in here. I highly recommend that you go and look through them yourself if you're running your game. And my advice to every DM out there, beware the deck of many things.
This thing is a deck of cards that's able to alter reality in very, very dangerous ways.
Not only can it grant wishes to your players, it can also give them debuffs or just kill them outright.
There's even one card where if you draw it, your soul is drawn out of your body, sent to another plane of existence, and the soul is protected by a really powerful creature of some kind native to that plane of existence. It's crazy. Be very careful giving this to your players.
I could go on for hours talking about different magical items in this book. There are some crazy ones in here, including a bunch of different potions and consumables, ton of crazy rings, and all kinds of stuff. The Monster Manual is another really fun book that has basically every monster that you can think of. Not all of them, but a lot of the classics. Like this guy on the cover here is a beholder. We'll get to him in a minute. Let me just show you the index of this thing. All of these names here are different monsters in this book alone that you can add into your game. For example, demons. There's also devils. This one is one you really have to watch out for. There's also a ton of different types of dragons. There's green dragons, there's red dragons like I showed before. There's blue dragons, there's also metallic dragons.
There are 3 types of dragons: chromatic, metallic, and gem dragons. Chromatic ones are the evil ones, the classic ones like Smog and different ones like that. The metallic dragons are more good aligned. They're a lot like the chromatic dragons, they're just not evil. And the gem dragons are neutral, and they're really interesting because they actually have like psionic powers like telepathy and telekinesis and different things like that. Some of them can create illusions and others can create black holes. Like, it's freaking crazy.
They also have different kinds of genies in this book, and they're each native to different elemental planes and stuff. Like this is an earth genie, this is an air, and this is a fire genie, and this is a water genie. These guys are pretty weird looking. There's also a ton of cool looking giants, like there's cloud giants, fire giants, frost giants, hill giants, stone giants, and storm giants, and they're all unique in their own ways and all really cool. There's also different golems, hags, which are weird, like witch fey creatures, and also classic stuff like the hippogriff, the hydra, don't get me started on this thing. And of course we got goblins, the kraken, and liches, which are classic to D&D. They're undead wizards who eat the souls of other people to keep themselves immortal. And the beholders, which are completely unique to D&D and are some of the most terrifying monsters ever created in Dungeons and Dragons. These things are able to alter reality with their dreams and even create other beholders. There are so many different kinds.
It's said that a beholder is so paranoid that it has planned for every outcome that you could ever think of and more. It's absolutely insane. Before I ramble on for too long, I want to show you one last thing in this book.
The Tarrasque. So, just to get this out of the way, each monster in this book has a challenge rating, and that challenge rating helps DMs discern if a monster is too difficult for their players to fight. The highest you can get is challenge rating 30, and guess who's sitting at the top of that ladder? The Tarrasque is one of the most terrifying and recognizable monsters in Dungeons and Dragons. Look at its stats, like this is insane! It also has some crazy like bite attacks, frightening presence, which just scares people if they're too close, horns, claws, swallow ability, so if you get bitten by this thing and eaten, you're done for. It's said that a Tarrasque's stomach is so volatile that it can actually melt magical items and even artifacts, which are the most rare and powerful items that you can get.
Tarrasques are just so scary, especially if you're the player and you're having to fight it.
I won't go into these two books this video, but I would love to go through all of them eventually. I have a lot here. But if you're running a game and you want some more options other than the ones given in the 3 main books, I highly recommend these 2 books. Xanathar's Guide has a ton of great options for your players to choose different subclasses for every class, and there's a ton of different monsters in this book.
One of these days, I hope I can go through all of my different D&D stuff and show you what I have, because it's all really fun. But I want to remind you something. You don't need any of this stuff to run your games. You only really need a few pieces of paper, some dice, and some pencils. That's all that really matters. It's all based around telling a story and having fun with your friends. And if you have that and you're all having fun, that's Dungeons and Dragons. That's all it is. It's just having fun, telling a story to your friends and seeing what they would do. And there are so many different kinds of stories that a dungeon master could tell. It could be like Narnia, Lord of the Rings, Percy Jackson, Star Wars even. There's so many different things that you can do. You don't even have to base it off any of those. You could just have fun and make it up as you go. Eventually, I do want to go over all the different stuff that I use in my D&D games, like the different tools I use, the different books that I have, and each of them are all really useful. Like there's ones based around specifically dragons and fleshing them out. There's ones based on the Critical Role campaign, Campaign 2. There's ones based on Greek mythology. There's ones based on horror. There's different things like that, and I really enjoy reading them. But again, you don't need any of this. I just want to show you guys the different reasons why I love this game and why I think you guys should at least. But again, you don't need any of this. I just want to show you guys the reason why I love this game so much and why I have been having so much fun with it over the past 5 years. In the future, I would love to make more videos on Dungeons and Dragons and explain the different classes, subclasses, and races that you can choose, along with all the monsters in the different books and different things you can add to your game as a dungeon master. But for now, I'm going to leave it here. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and comment down below what other videos you'd like to see next. Like if you have any suggestions for monsters that you want me to cover, different things like that. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!